Hi people, sorry for the late video. I've been sick since Friday. Well, I was sick on Friday, and past 2 days, I wasn't, I was just, I guess, still sick, whatever, and tired. Which fits with the theme, because, yeah. I'm having regular fatigue. I'm having gender fatigue. All day, every day. Not really, but it seems like it sometimes. Gender fatigue is just like being so fed up with thinking about gender, talking about gender, having feelings about gender. And it can happen a lot if you're someone who, for example, makes YouTube videos about gender, and or is an activist or a writer who deals with gender issues. Or if you're just trans or questioning and you're just sort of diving into the world of figuring out your gender identity, then a lot of times, people just jump in and they want to immerse themselves in an accepting community and learn more and try to figure out, exactly words to identify how they're feeling and other people who accept them for who they are and stuff like that, which totally makes sense. And not everybody not everybody has this result in gender fatigue, but some of us do, and I've definitely felt it before. The thing is, it has to be a balance. There has to be a balance for me. It sort of goes back to picking your battles, which is something that we've talked about before, because if I were to correct every single person every single time they misgendered me, I wouldn't spend any time doing anything else. Even if I didn't do it every single time, even if I did it most of the time, that does cause, I guess, me to just get really fed up, because, something you hear a lot as either activists hear this a lot for a variety, on a variety of different subjects, but also people who have all, people who aren't cis or straight. If we mention anything, a lot of times people say, oh, why do you have to talk about that all the time? Why do you have to bring gender into it? Why do you have to, as if, and they say these things as if it's fun for us to constantly be correcting people who misgender us, or lecturing people about, our gender identities. Maybe some people who like educating have fun, with the lecturing part, but generally no, because most people don't enjoy that, and even the people who do enjoy that, how are you supposed to enjoy it if you know that chances are the next thing to come out of the mouth of the person you're talking to is going to be something that's really insulting and demeaning. So, yeah, like, I would love to not have to deal with thinking about any of that, just like a cis person doesn't have to. If, you know, if society accepted transgender people and non-binary people and it was just a common part of society, we wouldn't, you know, well, maybe we would still have this channel. Maybe we would. But maybe, like, there's a good chance we wouldn't, because I wouldn't even have to, I wouldn't even have to think about it. Most of us we wouldn't have to think about it. We could if we wanted to, but, I mean, it would be such a commonplace thing, and me and you, we would all grow up, you know, our gender being a part of our everyday lives, acknowledged, not disrespected. Yeah, like, I highly doubt that cis people get gender fatigue, and if they do, it would be cis women, not cis men, obviously, because when has any of us ever, like, known a cis guy to think about and analyze and do work about his gender so much that it becomes a point of, like, emotional fatigue. Like, you just can't deal with it anymore. So yeah, like, all of this stuff, all this talking that I do, this community building, it's important and it's good for me, but there is a point where it becomes a little bit too much, and that's okay. You can't do one thing all the time, and it makes sense that there would be a level at which talking about gender would focusing on gender would be too much, considering the sort of shit that we have to deal with about our gender. Like, it's depressing even when you try not to think about it. So if you are thinking about it and dealing with it and talking about it all the time, yeah, we're gonna get tired. But the thing is, because, you know, there are times and situations where I have to shut my mouth and not talk about gender, not even necessarily my gender, but just generally the existence of transgender people and gender-based oppression. And obviously that's just frustrating on its own, but if I have to do it for an extended amount of time, then I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about, once get to the point of being stifled, I will, like, focus on it, even though, because it just takes so much energy to keep my inclinations in, and what I'm inclined to do is to talk about it. So it's like either end of the spectrum of talking about it as much as it comes up leads to gender fatigue for me. Yeah. And the thing is, for people if people are experiencing it because they're, you know, questioning, or they just came out, and, you know, it is like a whole new world, and there are a lot of people and a lot of discussions to be had. Just know that you don't have to have them all at once. You don't have to figure it out all at once. You don't have to figure out your gender identity all at once. it took me a long time. I'm still sort of figuring out the final parts, but I guess the best way to avoid or deal with it is just to reassure yourself through your thoughts and actions that your gender, or lack of gender, is a part of you, which is totally okay and deserves respect and is wonderful. And same goes for all the other aspects of your identity. Yeah. I'm very tired. I'm gonna go now. Yeah. I hope you all are feeling a lot better than I am.